Phew. Let me get all wound up here for a second. How's everybody doing today? Hey, this is Cassandra Williamson. I am coming to you from, as I tell you every day, a holler in eastern Kentucky in Pike County, right along the Tug, near the Tug River, not right along, but near the Tug River, across the river from Williamson, West Virginia, which is a town that I like to say was named after my children, but I don't claim it anymore because the town is in bad shape. Roads are horrible through there. Williamson, are you listening, Mayor? Town's been around since 1895 and founded on land that some in my family owned a long time ago. Put a railroad station in, and then, it just blossomed into something. Sorry, that it became the county seat for Mingo County, West Virginia. So Williamson, West Virginia, that's where I was born. But anyway, so that's where I am, in the hills, up in the holler. And today I had an opportunity to go riding around. I had to go to Pikeville, which is the county seat of Pike County, and go take care of some business over there, wash the car, go to Lowe's, pick up some sweet potatoes and onions from my sister over at Pikeville Medical Center, and then go to the courthouse and do some work on deeds and stuff and trying to find out who owns the adjacent land to my properties and stuff. So I was doing that and ran into the county clerk, Daryl Pugh, and had a good conversation with Daryl. They're getting ready to change the system around here in the county from having magistrates around. And hey, Bobby. So getting ready to change the system, the governance system in Pike County from countywide 3 magistrates running the whole county. This is one of the largest county. I think it is the largest county east of the Mississippi in all the states. It's large, not population-wise, but there are a lot of wealthy people here and a lot of power. They've lost a lot, though. Coal mine's no longer active. But anyway, so I got to meet Daryl Pugh today at the courthouse when I was over there doing some deed work, and he was asking me about. I was looking at this big map because they're going to change it to a elected magistrate system for like district magistrates map. And the process will be that in 27, they'll actually seat that. They used to have it. They'll seat it in 27, vote on it in 26. And he asked me if I was going to, if I vote. I said yes. And he wanted to know if I had strong family connections here. And I said, yeah, since 1795. All the different families, you name it, we're connected. And he said, so what party are you? I said, well, Daryl, back in the day when I lived in Texas, I was the Republican County Party chairperson for that county. So they're a good position, and even Mickey Mouse didn't get enough votes. But it was, and then I said, but really today though, the way I look at it is that I can't stand anything that, except for a few things. There's some things I do like that Trump has done, but all the attacks on minorities in the country, I can't stomach that. So I'm opposed to that. So I'd be a liberal, a Democrat running. And he said, well, you ought to do it. You could win. Who knows? So no, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but it's worth looking into. So anyway, Bobby, how you doing this evening?
Well, so far I'm doing.
I
decided to get up off the bed and tune in and turn on and see what's going on.
Would you bring your decoder ring with you?
No, it's back at the back cave.
Oh, darn. Jesus Christ. I needed some help with interpreting the 45,000 different Christian denominations that are around the globe right now so they can talk to the evangelicals here in this country and tell them to back off.
Yeah, I don't really see them backing off, but
they're not going to.
The problem I do see is how they're going to get through all the paperwork and through all of the rules and ideas tied up with state and wherever.
Yeah.
And I think what they've done is they've set up a situation that's absolutely impossible to control. It's just like the bathroom bill. Um,
Hmm.
Unless you're going to have somebody there at the door, hand under, you're
Yeah,
never going to really know.
right. And it's unenforceable, regardless of how much they want to make it enforceable. It's unenforceable.
Right. I don't know if I told you the girl that, we knew already that the girl that went to Tallahassee,
Yeah.
they finally came out with a video on her
Hmm.
uh, indicating that, yeah, they let her go and uh, like a speedy trial and, forget about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't see the zeal for enforcement that,
Yeah. It's not there because I mean, half the people who would be trying to enforce it have got family members in the LGBT community.
yeah, that. And now I read today about the possibility of Texas with their new system of wanting to say anybody with wrong information on their documentation can go to jail
Yeah.
and it's a felony.
Yeah.
Well, when you go to the state and you say, State, how do I correct this? How do I work with this?
Hmm.
The state throws up their hands. They have no idea how to work with it.
Right. This is all political posturing. All of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the question is, how many people are going to suffer in the interim?
Well, I do have some hope about that, some a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. Um, these kind of flashes in the pan that's going on with this conservative reset right now, with in the Republican reset, where Trump is following the Project 2025 playbook. We've seen this before. This happens periodically and cyclically, and has over the past 100 years. I mean, it's been there every time there's a groundswell of civil rights being granted to people, or things like that, or academia falling towards more liberal thinking or whatever. The right gets all up in arms over it, and they get mad and mad and madder and madder. And then what happens is they do a flashbang on it. They go in there, destroy it, and then can't maintain it because people get pissed at them.
Well, it kind of did that last night with the Epstein stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
The committee voted not to release it,
Hmm.
yet MAGA wants it.
Yeah,
Obama says he didn't write it.
right.
So who's going to win in that game?
Well, like you said a couple of times ago, and you mentioned it several times, is that the country's going to get tired of all of this stuff, and they already are starting to. They're starting to get really disenchanted with all the chaos they're seeing, and
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
that's inevitably the trend. Every time they've done this in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and now in the 2020s. I mean, these conservative resets are like a flash in the pan. They come and go, and then what happens after that? We slowly gain everything back that was taken away, and some more, and then the conservatives get pissed again and go in and tear things up.
Well, Cassandra, if anything, I think this is a wonderful opportunity for the transgender community, the gay community, to do what 99% of the community is already doing, and that's become a useful part of the community.
That's true.
It's
That's
it's
true.
just it's just at most 10% that seem to think uh, their actions in these parades and so forth are helping the image,
Right.
uh,
Right.
not
We have
helping my image.
well, Jamie. There was a friend of mine from Michigan showed up on today's midday with Cassandra program. Jamie from up in Michigan. I got to meet Jamie while I was touring the country, and wonderful, wonderful veteran. I'd been involved in the community, helping get veterans recognized and her cousins recognized who were veterans. And and different things taking place, monuments and plaques and stuff like that that you've been involved in. And she and I were talking about the exact same thing, where there are some parades out there, some pride parades. I've been to the one in Orlando. I saw, that's what I was talking with Jamie about. I saw one person holding a fistful of leashes. On the other end were dog collars and dog masks and people on all fours. A whole gaggle of them walking around there in Orlando. And I'm like, what the crap? Come on, folks.
Well, the kind of things that some of these people have done, like Lily Tino and some of these other people,
Yeah.
are absolutely an insult to women. How they can sit there and say, you know, I want to be a woman, but then on the same token, they absolutely insult them at the same time.
Right. They're not doing anything to do that, to be one.
They don't want to become a woman, they just want attention.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. A lot
So
of people out there are just performative, yeah.
The question is how, as we, as a community, can monitor and help those people see the error of their ways.
Jamie and I were talking about that too, that we were going to have to start policing our own community. It's only a handful of people, just a handful of people out of 1.6 million in the trans community anyway, and what, 17 million or so LGBT people. It's just a handful of people that are the ones drawing all of the ire and all of the vitriol from the right. It's just,
no, of course.
We got to call them out. We got to call it out and stop it. That, you know, when, like I told people before, I'll call balls and strikes, whether it's right or left. I don't care. Wrong is wrong and right's right.
And you're not apologizing for what they're doing.
That's right. No, I'm not apologizing for bad behavior. Now, as an apologist, those two words are different. And that's, I've written on that one, talked about it extensively already. And yeah, an apologist is someone defending people, like defending LGBT people and trans people. I defend them. That's definitely what I do, but I don't go around and apologize for bad behavior. I will call it out, period.
And that you should.
Yeah. So I'm going to
that we all should.
Exactly. So are you ready? I'm going to let somebody else tell the mom joke. I'm going to share a screen. Hold on a minute. All right. You're looking at the Harp Twins. It's a Facebook reel. Here we go. Oh, I get a kick out of these two. And this other program right here, not that one, this one. This young lady right here is a former Christian nationalist, lives in Tennessee, and she is spot on and smart. So I'm gonna let her just tell this to you real quick.
Her sound's not coming through.
Okay. The sound is not coming through.
Mm-mm.
Hold on a minute. Let me go back. Gotta find the little button. And trying to share a screen. Be able to share audio too. Why is it not sharing audio? Communications, microphone default, communications. Okay. Camera. Well, that's a good question. Where's the back of this? I'm trying to get it back. Anyways, I'll figure out what's going on there. But she is good. She talks a lot about a lot of different things, particularly about the Christian nationalists who are trying to take over the country right now. my response back is there are 45,000 Christian denominations around the world. Yours is not the only one that's right or wrong.
Well, and don't forget now they've come along with this idea that mixing church and state is all right.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. They're trying to push that again. But you know, we ought to be going back to how it was in the 18th and 19th centuries, the late 1700s and from mid to early 1800s. Texas and a number of other states had laws. The Texas Republic had laws on their or had statutes in their constitution and laws in their constitution that said that no person of faith should ever serve as an executive elected position or serve in the House or Congress or whatever, or be president. They should never do those things because they ought to be tending to their flock and not out here trying to proselytize people in the Congress.
Well, now that that's all basically gone,
Yeah, it has. It's all gone.
and we don't follow the rules anymore, and we don't listen to what the court says.
Right.
Certainly, it is not a time to get out there and show your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. But my concern is for the lack of consideration for people who are heavily vested in the change procedures. To simply say change paperwork, it's not that easy.
Right.
Okay, and so it places a person in a position where literally they could be arrested and jailed and fined simply because they can't change the paperwork.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other side of that is if you have to spend a bunch of time going back to court and whatever, who defrays the cost of that?
Yeah, you do.
So, I mean, it's. I don't think people quite understand how difficult it is to go through the process from one end to the other, and particularly in paperwork, you don't just walk in and say, "I want to change this, this, and this."
Right.
No, you have to get legal court orders. You have to get certifications. It's not just, I can't walk in and just change something.
Right. Well, part of it is that you and I have been telling people for a long time now, you should be working on making sure all your paperwork is correct, that you are everything you say you ought to be that. And if you haven't been working on those pieces of paper to get all that stuff legally lined up, well, that's on you because we've been telling you.
Well, yeah, it's on you, but there's also a certain cost and a lot of stress that goes into that as well. And it's not just cut and dry. You know, let me get this and it's done. And another thing that concerns me, Trump comes out with his statement, biological sex, you know, as the benchmark, and but he's federal. Now these states are all different. Now the state is the one you go to change it to start with.
Right.
And the state is the one that has your birth certificate. So my simple question is, how do you get all that to go together?
Well, Trump is using force right now. He's using force to empower or to overpower university systems that are state run. He's using it to overpower any state that objects to what he's trying to tell them to do. He's using the power of the purse to force them to do what he wants. And I don't know how he's going to deal with all of that part right there, but a lot of the states now are changing over to the same definition that Trump has put out there as an executive order. And we can look for more of it, that's for sure. But thank goodness this does end.
Well, no, I don't think it does. I don't think it's going to end because they're going to add this on to it. And they'll catch a few. They'll pretty much let them go and, maybe put one or two in jail if they're real flagrant with it.
Yeah.
But the problem is that is not going to solve the issue of getting the paperwork correct and
Right.
not only ensuring the safety of the individual.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant a minute ago, is that this, like you said, this is a long-term process. You don't just go in and do paperwork changes all. It doesn't happen quickly. You have to be very deliberate, and you have to plan how you're going to go about doing it and what you need to as a prerequisite before you even take that first step. You need to think this through and have a plan and know that it's going to take time. And if you haven't started on it, well, you need to start. But it's getting more and more difficult to make
Well,
those changes.
and you need to realize that there are exceptions to every rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
True.
everybody doesn't fall in that same box.
Right.
What Trump has tried to create is an absolute, but there is no absolute.
That's right. Well, we all know that, but they aren't interested in science. This has never been about science. This has always been a political ideology that's trying to force down our throats.
Well, I question how they're going to change what they can't change.
Who knows? Who knows? They actually are working to even change the science to reflect their ideology. They're working at it now. They're eliminating any kind of programs that might expound upon the definitions of what it means to be a man and a woman. They're eliminating any program that would research into those things. At the same time, they're closing down anything that has to do with the words like transgender and bisexual, or getting rid of all of those things because, it makes them feel kind of queasy or something. I don't.
No, what it does is it helps fill in their lack of self-confidence.
That too. That too.
Because you really don't need that surname anyway.
Right.
You can exist without that surname.
Mm-hmm.
And documentation could be simplified greatly. I'm just waiting for a state official to say this is what you need to do to correct the problem.
Yeah, they're not going to.
And that isn't happening.
Right. It's not going to happen. This conservative reset that we're in, this flash in the pan, it will end. It'll burn itself out and people will get pissed about it. Demand change. And we're already seeing, like you have mentioned, we're beginning to see the flicker of that light at the end of the tunnel. People are just getting so fed up with this rapid pace of so much destruction of everything that has to take care of people and take care of feeding the kids and making sure they have medicine if they don't have enough income to cover all of that, and making sure that, that stuff that they're being taught is actually worthwhile and actually valid science or valid math or valid whatever, and that's the kind of thing that people just get pissed about. And people are beginning to see that all of these rollbacks of agencies, canceling and deletion of agencies, rollbacks of regulation and stuff like that, the only people that benefit are the ones who already have billions of dollars. It is not going to trickle down. That Reagan economic policy of trickle down economics does not work. It trickles to Cayman Islands or it trickles somewhere like that.
Let me give you an example of a situation I'm running into right now.
Okay.
And I find it interesting. I just changed doctors And the new
Right.
information for the new doctor, of course,
Go ahead.
they put male, female, other,
Right.
transgender, whatever. Okay, and
Uh-huh.
now that's interesting. But they've also added some other things to it too.
Like what?
They're they're doing facial recognition photographs
Hmm.
and genetic testing.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Okay.
is that, are you talking about voluntary genetic testing? Is that something like the Million Veteran Program, or just what are you talking
I still have yet to find out because if it's depending on what it is.
Yeah, yeah,
But here's the point. The point is they're pushing these identity points into getting service.
yeah. The question
And
is, though, I thought they were removing all of those identifiers like trans from all of the VA documentation. And you're
this
saying,
isn't VA, this is outside.
oh, outside. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Well, they'll go for them too eventually.
Well, see, here's going to be the interesting thing to me. As a veteran, I've been treated very well over the years at VA hospitals. I don't have any problems. I get along great with people. Have a
Me too.
lot of friends. Okay.
Me too. Me too.
But moving into a private institute for continued care, I'm a little bit leery
Hmm.
because I don't know what those people's attitude is.
Right.
Okay. So the only way I can deal with it is just wait and see.
Yeah.
But I kind of have an attitude, look, if I'm not sleeping with you, my gender isn't important to you.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
You know, I mean, it seems like people want to get too nosy.
Yeah.
Um,
We've forgotten that live and let live mantra that we ought to all be doing. Live and let live.
yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. And
Right.
that and the complicated part of the paperwork.
Hmm.
Um,
So they're moving you from Gainesville over to Lake City, private
yeah,
care. Okay. Okay.
yeah, and so
Okey-dokey.
yeah, there's a lot of ambiguity here. I don't know what's going to be going on.
Right. Right.
Not concerned, but
Hmm.
aware.
Yeah. So this is how many times now that you've had the chemotherapy sessions? How many have you had?
When I move, it will be the second half of the fifth cycle.
Wow. Okay. You doing all right through it though? I mean, getting better at recovery?
I'm doing through it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as I said to people, people are extremely respectful.
Good.
Uh, they treat you really well. Um, the downside is you're tired all the time.
Mm.
I mean, I could close my eyes and go to sleep here on live TV.
Oh, wow.
And
I know it takes a lot for you to be here, and I appreciate it very, very, very much to be on the
well,
show.
I consider you to be a good friend, and I know you support the transgender community.
Yeah.
Uh, Unfortunately, I don't. I mean, I support people's desire to make change, okay,
Right.
and be themselves. But there's no way I can throw support behind these clowns at these pride parades and making idiots on themselves on YouTube and any of that. And
Well, you and I might actually agree with some of that stuff right there because I don't agree with a lot of that stuff either. As a matter of fact, like I said earlier, that's some of the stuff that I will call out for being stupid.
Well, yeah, and therein lies the ability of you and I to communicate about this stuff and be able to talk about it and voice the opinion that, yeah, there's things that really are upsetting.
Hmm.
And to me, people like some of these TikTokers and whatever are really upsetting because it's just slapping women in the face.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
You know,
Exactly right. So
when I went through all this surgeries and all the original stuff, it was way before the word transgender became a word,
yeah, yeah.
and it didn't exist. Well, then they got the idea if they got everybody together, it would be a bigger coalition. But unfortunately, you have this group of transgender people that think they have to show out, and I mean physically show out.
Hmm.
Uh, Go take hormones, wear suspenders, and have your tits hanging out. No, that's that's
Agree.
not real womany, okay? And the dog thing, I
Oh,
don't even think I'd ever heard of that. And then all of a sudden, here we got people crawling around on all fours.
yeah.
I don't care if they do that as long as they stay at the pound.
I could get animal control after them, put them in the van, haul them away. That might work.
Yeah, they did that, and they had one on the back spanking him with a leather belt.
Oh God.
But I mean, no, that's not what I want. I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in God,
Hmm.
and I believe God made us for a purpose
Right.
because I don't think He makes mistakes.
That's right.
And but I also think He gave us uh, the knowledge that we should have a moral compass
Hmm.
and tried to present ourselves in a reasonable and positive manner.
Hmm.
And somehow I don't see some goofy taking selfies in the ladies' bathroom at Disney as a positive thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly right. Wow.
And more interesting, you got to say at this point, Trump, look, show the tapes, show the list. Because
Yeah.
if you don't, everybody's going to think you're on it.
Of course. Everybody already does. Well, not everybody.
Well, he's been on several of his lists.
No, no. But the thing is, I hear some people over on Twitter and on the right side say, "Well, he already said he wasn't on the list." I said, "Uh huh. His lips are moving, and he is definitely not telling you the truth." But
Well,
at the same time, though, why would if he's not on? Here's my question: if he is not on the list, why are you still holding onto it, or whatever that might be? It could be nothing more than um, the accuser's information, which is fine too. Release it. But if he's not on it, then what is the concern? Why not? Let's see if I can get
well,
this.
his rationalization that it could ruin lives.
Oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about ruining
Yeah,
lives. He does not care about ruining lives. All you have to do is look at the people he has not paid who worked for him over all of these
yeah,
40, 50,
ruining
60 years.
lives.
Yeah. I'm going to try to share this thing again and actually see if you can hear it. So let me see if you can hear this now.
Okay.
I'm going to pull it up there. Share. Hopefully this video will play where you can hear it. I'm going to put speakers near my microphone too. That might help as well. Give me a second. Line this up. Okay. Press and play.
Can't hear it. Yeah, so you can't hear it.
Can you hear me? So you still couldn't hear that?
No,
That's weird.
I did want to respond to one of your messages over here, though.
What's that?
Messages, I mean that I play guitar and sing. I entertain at Pride Parade and other LGBT events. Do you consider that thing as some showing out, as you say? And the answer is absolutely not. What we're talking about is simulated sexual acts, nudity, uh, foul language, people just going beyond reasonable. Like I can remember one shot I saw not too long ago of a person standing in front of a police officer torquing him with a nothing but a leather strap on his butt. I don't think that's appropriate.
Thanks, Junia, for your comment there too, by the way. Appreciate you dropping in. So we've been at it for 37 minutes, Bobby. It's a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah, that's because I'm here.
You want to talk about anything else that you have in mind?
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing from some of the people that, watch your show,
Mm-hmm.
what they have encountered as far as paperwork measures
Mm-hmm.
and what paths they have chosen or have been made available to them to correct the problems.
Right. Right. Okay.
And I guess I could give an example why I say that. Um, I'm from the state of Indiana. So, in order to get my birth certificate changed, I had to go through a court order, which I did in Florida. Went to Indiana, got my birth certificate changed. Well, the problem is, I never saw the original birth certificate because it's a sealed birth. Um, my mother was below the legal age when I was born, so the whole case was sealed. And I still, to this day, have never seen an original birth certificate. What I have seen is an adoption birth certificate from two different states,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which I went back and was able to get finally my real birth certificate sent to me, and but it doesn't match the biological,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So what path do I follow to correct this? And it's interesting because the state of Florida would only accept my female birth certificate for my driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is because I also have a certified statement by a gynecologist that says I'm female now.
Right.
So, of course, there's still going to be some time here, but the question is, how is that going to come out across the board?
I don't really know. I don't have an answer for that.
Well, the good news is the transgender thing has become very quiet in Florida. Nobody's saying anything, nobody's doing anything. Hallelujah. Thank you, people, for being calm and using your heads. Um, wow. What else can I say?
Right. Right. I can tell you here where I am in Eastern Kentucky that I have zero problems around here.
I don't either. You
I
know,
mean, I didn't have problems in Alabama either when I lived down there. I mean, really, I had zero problems. The only people I get problems from are the ones on the talking heads on the right. That's the only stuff that's showing up. And they keep saying, y'all can't quit shoving it down our throats. You got to quit shoving it down our throats. And I said, well, first thing is you need to close your mouth. And then the second thing is, well, stop coming at my door and knocking on it and leaving a Christian pamphlet there or a Muslim pamphlet or whatever it is you're going to leave there. I don't want to hear that either. So, yeah.
I don't know, Cassie. When they come to my door and knock, I invite them in, give them a Coke,
Yeah.
and tell them straight up front, I'll never be like you, but I can appreciate you are who you are.
Yeah, exactly. That's
See,
the right.
what we've lost and what we've given up on is supporting each other across the board. We've created hate where we need to create support.
Right.
Hey, if you believe in this in your church, you know, if you want to play with rattlesnakes, go ahead, be my guest, okay? I'm
Don't
not
bring
gonna,
them to my door.
but just don't invite me. And
Exactly.
but the whole point is, why is it so uh, important to them to try to destroy the other people?
I
This
don't
is
know.
not Christ. This is not Christ-like.
No, it's not. I don't know. That's why I mentioned that there are 45,000 different registered or recognized Christian denominations in the world and over 150 different versions of Islam in the world.
That's
And
correct.
so it's like, really? Which one do you think? You think yours is right and the others are wrong? Or what's going on here? I mean, why do you think that you have a right to tell me how to live? Because some of these others don't think they have a right to tell me how to live. And they're Christian denominations or Muslim denomination too. So whatever. Anyway, soapbox.
People think they have a right to possession. You don't own anybody.
Right. Right. Oh my
So,
God.
but you know, as a closing thought, anybody that has input on how to deal with paperwork or
Mhm.
how to protect oneself down the road or possible ideas of ways for the path forward,
Yeah.
please bring them in. Bring them in. You know, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, exactly. And I do. And I also want to say this too, is that I want to hear from people who don't agree with me. I want to hear from people who have different opinions and beliefs systems than me because I know that the only way we can actually sustainably move forward as a nation even is when we actually sit down at the table and give other people space to let us know how they think respectfully. And we need to do the same thing. We need that adversarial type collaboration. We're missing that. And then when you leave it out, you end up with silos that keep building upon themselves and eventually they're going to collapse.
So
And with that,
why not work toward that positive coalition?
exactly, even
You know,
though that coalition has to consist of people who don't agree with you. And you've got to bring them in. They have to be heard too.
I don't care, you know, if a guy wears a dress or a girl wears a beard or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely doesn't matter to me. Uh, Matter of fact, I've been diagnosed with no gender identity disorder, period.
Right.
I know who I am.
Yeah, me too. Agreed.
Psychologists have already said that. But what I do know is if we could each just contribute one positive idea,
Mm-hmm.
then this whole thing could take off and run. And
Yeah.
I totally agree with a lot of people on X. Why these idiots do what they do, I don't understand.
Right. Right.
So it's not that we disagree with them. It's just we need to correlate what we do agree on.
Right. Well, with that, the path forward will be here tomorrow evening at 6 Eastern Time. Midday will be here. Uh, Midday will be here tomorrow around 1. It could be before or a little after or whatever. That one is kind of tied up to how often I have to take care of my parents or my mom and family here. You know, those kind of things come first. So that midday kind of schedule is flexible.
Cassie, I think you need to,
I see Junior's comment there, and it says, I don't always agree with you, but I can respect your opinion because you're willing to give it without any kind of malice. Thanks, Junior. And yes, thank you.
absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, I need to go. It's now 47 minutes. That means in about 12 minutes, I got to go take care of getting medicine shots and everything like that for the family. Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you later. Thanks, Junior. Big hugs, Bobby and Junior. Big hugs all the way around.